Hey guys, welcome to Re-Education of a Nation. I'm your host, Ryan Gardner. Trying to find a good spot today. We're at Burnett's Big Goods. I'm sitting in front of this window enjoying myself and just thought I'd come in today and see how you guys are doing and to talk about pie and politics. One of you guys can hear me. If you can hear me okay, say something. See if we can't get over here to the page. See where we at. Might have to, trying to get a good spot. That's a little bit better for you, I think. Yeah. Work with me, no too much. Hey, how's it going this morning? Trying to get this pie and politics. The sun, yesterday we were in a good position and the sun wasn't beating me up too bad. I hope it's not too much of a glare for you guys. So, good morning. And when you come in, let's see. So we got one viewer. Try to get a couple in the chat. If anybody's got something on their minds they want to talk about, discuss, want me to talk about in a future show, just let me know, and we'll gladly discuss it. And good morning. Who just gave me the thumbs up? And as usual, we are at Burnette's Big Goods. Don't know if that's reversed or not when you guys see it, but yeah, Burnette's Big Goods here at 404 North Sycamore Street in Petersburg, Virginia. They got a great menu. They serve breakfast, lunch, basically dinner. And they got even a chicken and waffles that's to die for. My favorite, as always, is the corned beef hash and eggs. Good morning, Deanna. How you doing, sweetheart? And if you could do us all a favor, when you come in, like it, love it, share. And I always tell people, share it. Let everybody know. Don't forget to go to our podcast, our Instagram. And if you want a Re-Education of a Nation cup, what I ask you to do is I ask you to participate, submit some type of question or something that you want to talk about, and we will send you a cup. Just send me an email address or a mailing address in my messenger, and we'll go from there. But let me get in, and we'll start the show about pie and politics. But today's topic about pie and politics is going to be the Justice Act and what to do with the monuments. I got a really good suggestion of what we should do with all these Civil War monuments and how they should be handled. I gotta find this sunlight is brutal right now, but it's just gonna have half my face gonna be tan, the other half ain't. So let's see where we at. You'll get one. Send me a mailing address. Do what's asked of you, and you will get you a cup. Let's see. Where are we at this morning? Trying to get to the page so I can converse with you guys as well. That's one that's live from yesterday. And I don't know why we're not on there today. Oh, I know why. Good morning. Who else is in the room? When you come in and speak, tell us where you're from, what you're talking about. You're still that. I'm trying to get, when you get lost on your own link because you got so many pages, it's crazy. But, so, let me see if I can get to it because it's kicking me off my own link. Okay, so there we go. Pie and politics up and running. So, mute my sound. So, I don't know what that was. I do have a topic I would like to discuss, but I would like to listen to your message today first. Okay, awesome. So, today, right now, if you're paying attention to the news, good morning, Tara, how you doing, baby? If you're paying attention to the news right now, there's a big argument over defunding police, and there's a big discussion on how to handle police reform or the so-called Injustice Act. Now, not to just give you the meat and potatoes of the Justice Act, they want to ban chokeholds. The Dems want to ban excessive force. They want to talk about defunding police. But the problem is this is only happening on one side of the aisle. The Republicans haven't even submitted anything or even signed on this document. And they're also talking about, still in 2020, they're still discussing whether or not they should make lynching a hate crime. And the problem with that is because of the Ahmaud Arbery case, basically he was lynched. It was a group of people tracking one person, and they hunted Ahmaud Arbery like a rabid dog. So yes, I do think that should be considered a hate crime. I don't even know why this is a discussion. But to get back onto the Justice Act, it's garbage. From what I'm reading, from what I'm hearing, and I want to keep using this phrase, it is political hush money. Nothing in these acts or in these things are really going to do anything beneficial for the police departments or the communities that they're policing. Now, in regard to defunding the police is something where if you do the research, they're actually discussing how to take the resources and put them in other places to help with the communities, to help the police not have to be so needed. And that sounds fine and good and well, but we both know that that's a long ways down the road, and it may happen sooner than later, and it may be something that we can get done faster. But defunding the police is a slippery slope. Even though it has worked in certain areas, I would like to see more legislation and more verbiage on what defunding really means. Because people think that defunding the police is just taking all the police out and letting the world run amok. No, that is nothing to be the case of defunding the police. And like I said, Tara, if you haven't shared it, please share. And also, invite people to my page, Ryan Gardner, and also invite people to Re-Education and Nation, and also go to iTunes and type in Re-Education, 2 words, Re-Education of a Nation, and join our our podcast that we have going on weekly, daily, depending on what I feel in the topic. So, defunding the police is something that we need to review and how they want to do it. Of course, we know that there needs to be a shift in funding to more after-school activities, better education, higher paid teachers, better trained police officers, and better police officers. Also with that, in this Justice Act, they're also talking about starting a fund to study all these instances of police brutality to see if it's really an issue. Why the hell do we need to do a subject study or have a thesis done or some type of freaking research on what we know is true? This is what I talk about political fodder. This is political hush money. It is doing nothing but taking the entire process and shitting it down the tubes, and nothing is getting done except covering their asses and say, hey, this is what we did. When I said yesterday, the Democrats and Republicans are not coming together to do anything that will be beneficial for African Americans to feel safe and comfortable, because they don't want you to feel safe and comfortable, because the school to prison pipeline is beneficial. And I guarantee you some of these people, or most of them, are invested in these private prisons, and keeping your black ass incarcerated is the best way to go about it. Now, do I think everyone's bad? No, everyone cannot be inherently bad. But I do think that they're so embedded and they're so ingrained with each other that they're not paying attention to who is getting hurt. And really, do you care if blacks are getting hurt and hunted? The incidents that we've had in the past couple months, the gentleman that just got shot at the Taco Bell in Georgia, the Ahmaud Arbery case, another Georgia incident. Then Floyd that got shot in Minnesota. Let's not forget Philando Castile that got shot in Minnesota as well. See, these are areas that we need to focus on, because even though it's probably happening in other localities, these have been the ones that have been a unifying force. These are the ones that have been bringing things to the surface that we need to talk about. Oh, so the Democrats are the good guys. No one's saying that, Rob, and don't be an idiot or an asshole. No one's saying either one of them. If you hear what I'm saying, no one is bringing anything forward that's worth a shit. So don't come at me with that garbage. I'm not the one. You're going to come on here, speak logical, and listen to the whole thing. I'm not taking anybody's side. I want to see them both come together, because we have black Republicans, we have black Democrats. But neither one are trying to come with anything that is substantial and it has any power to do any substantial change in our country right now. This is the issue. This is the plague. This is what happens when you have politicians who are not afraid to lose their job, because they're not going to lose their job, because we're going to keep on voting these assholes back into office, and they should be removed. They should have term limits. Just like the president, so should Congress, so should the Senate. Now, if you get reelected after you take a break from a term, great. Do one, come back. Do one, come back. Whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. All I'm saying is that no one is coming forward with anything that has meat to it, that has staying power. Why do we need to do studies? Why are we talking about lynching in 2020? You know why we're talking about lynching in 2020? Because people are still being lynched. Blacks are still being lynched. Blacks are still being hunted. There have been several disturbing videos released. And my take on the videos is this before I get into them. If they were not recorded, no one would believe them. Everyone would think that they are just people sitting there making stuff up. And that, my friend, is the issue. You can't trust people nowadays, so we have to record. I'm seeing an uptick in people requesting, even from me, to install cameras in their cars so that they can record the police or incidents that happened in front of them or behind them to protect themselves. And so with that being said, those are the reasons why we need to sit there and lean on these politicians. Y'all keep voting them back in. You're giving them donor money. You're doing all this foolishness, but we're not holding them accountable for anything. Here he comes with straw man arguments. Please expand on that. I want to understand what you're trying to get at with that one. So now let's go with this whole monument thing. They're going to fight these monuments till the day they die. They're not going to sit there and move these monuments. They're going to destroy them or mothball them. I say, do what should be done with them. Put them in places now where they can be part of the conversation, where they can be part of history. Put them at these federal battlefields. Uproot their ass and put them on federal battlefields. This blows my mind that in 2020 there's even a thing or thought of lynching in these times. Well, sorry, Rob, there is. And that's why. Like I said, Ahmaud Arbery was lynched. I don't care how you say it or what you do, a mob or a gang, a gaggle, whatever number you want to throw to it, you can call it a shit ton of people went after this young man and recorded it. And they recorded it because they thought they were in the right. And that's the issue. People think they're above the law, and this is where the mentality of white privilege comes into the conversation for African Americans. See, we don't think we can do that. We don't think we have the power to do a citizen's arrest. We don't think we have the power to sit there because we know the police and the judicial system historically has not been on our side. This is white people doing this. Now, maybe there's a case every now and then of a brother or somebody, minority doing something like that, but it's not happening. It's really not happening. We're not the ones. You know, look at the situation the other day, and I'm getting a little bit off, but it's all in the bubble is police reform. The gentleman that was just killed at the Taco Bell. The first thing they're going to do is the famous character, right? Tell about his history to make the police look right. Got it. And I would be up to arguing that, you know, maybe he did deserve some type of, you know, going after. But one, they just showed another incident where a white man had a taser and they didn't kill him. Now, in this situation, not one bullet was fired, not two bullets were fired, but 3 bullets were fired. 3. As he ran away from the officers with a taser. 3. He was shot in the back with a taser. I don't know how many shots these tasers have, but the man was shot twice in the back. And the third bullet they found lodged into a car, I believe that they said had a female and a daughter in it, and her child. So now the issue with this is, the issue as to why we're talking about the Justice Act and why that it has no teeth to it is because it does not, it's talking about prosecuting police, but had this been done prior to, had this been something, a discussion that had been on the table prior to all these unnecessary deaths, and I go back to Philando Castile, that bughead got off. That cop got off. And that is the most heartbreaking video, aside from the Ahmaud Arbery video, that you will ever watch, where you're watching this man get shot in front of his daughter and his fiance and bleed out in the car. I beg you to show me another case like that. I beg you to show me another race that has had to endure that. I'm asking you to. There's a situation in Spotsylvania, and we'll talk about the privilege, where a gentleman pulled out an AR-15 and held 5 gentlemen, I believe 5 gentlemen, at gunpoint. At gunpoint. And they had to stand there and wait for the police to come. Of course the police disarmed him and they charged him with brandishing a firearm. But why in this day and age, why in 2020 do we need to sit there and have conversations about brandishing firearms against civilians who are black, needless and pointless killings of blacks, and lynching? You know why? Because racism is alive and well. Anybody that sits there and says any damn thing different is an idiot. And I will tell you why. Because you don't see blacks or Hispanics holding whites at gunpoint. You don't see black cops holding white people at gunpoint or shooting them in the back as they run away. And if it is happening, it needs to be reported. If you want to make the playing field level, make it level. And again, before I forget, Burnette's Baked Goods, love being here, quiet spot, 404 North Sycamore Street. I eat my breakfast here. I'm going to start doing my podcast out of here. Let me see what Marcus has to say. Confederate monuments belong in Confederate cemeteries. Well, let's talk about the monuments since Marcus already shifted. Let me take a sip of my coffee. I think for historical purposes, and I say this being in ROTC, here in Petersburg, I went to an ROTC program at Charles City High School. But they took us to Battlefield Park here in Petersburg on near Cradle Road, and they taught us the history of the Civil War. Now, what people forget is that these men were generals still tied to the federal government. Even though they succeeded, even though they probably came upon charges, that's why they tried to mend North and South, and they tried to throw a dog a bone by naming these bases in the South after these generals. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's history. Now, stop, not start. So, what they should do is take all the monuments and move them to federal battlegrounds. Federal land, they're federal protected. That way, both people get what they want. Those who want to sit there and honor the monuments can put them in a place to be honored and be federally protected against damage and vandalism. Those who don't want them in their neighborhood, get them out of their neighborhood, and they ain't got to see them or look at them. And see, you can't sit there and say it's a bad idea, because if you don't want it, then you need to tear up every federal battleground there is for the Civil War, because it's honoring the Civil War. There is markers all over the place, but certain places are designated as protected by the federal government. So I say put all those monuments there and have people educated on who they were, and what they meant for, against, after slavery. The education process is what I'm after. We have to start educating people on what's going on. We have to start working. Now, here's the other thing. If you want to get rid of the monuments, how about we put monuments there that talk about the healing of it? You know why? We can't. Because we haven't healed from it. After Reconstruction, it was hell for blacks. I dare say that I read a report talking about lynching where over 2,000 blacks were lynched after Reconstruction. 2,000. Strung up by groups of people who wanted them dead, either because they did something or they were lied about. Emmett Till is a prime example. And this, my friends, is why racism is still alive. You have people that believe they're above the law. And you also have a system in place that is systemic, that this is what they do. They process bodies constantly. No question, no fail, no whatever. I could tell you several instances, but I'm not going to sit there and do that. Marcus, that's a compromise I'd accept. Exactly. Because guess what? Compromise is what has to happen in a lot of these situations. Thank you, Marcus, for saying that. Compromise is something that I believe is beneficial. But at the same time, in order to get compromise, we have to have something else, and that is a better educational system and better training for our police force. We have to educate and get better cops. The reason why everything is going to the crap pot is because our educational system sucks, and so does our police force. Not saying that they do, but their training is not the best. It is very quick. It is not ongoing. And it's something that they may have refreshers and whatnot. And I'm not knocking any cop for their job, because a police officer is a tough job, no matter what color, creed, nationality, whatever you support. But let us not forget that the FBI has said, and I will always say this, white nationalists and racists have penetrated and infiltrated the police force. And there's countless examples of people getting busted and caught making racist statements, and they're being removed. But my problem with this is, why are other places rehiring them? And go back, the gentleman that was just killed in Georgia at the Taco Bell, that officer Wendy's, thank you. At the Wendy's, I spoke wrong. Wendy's had prior situations reported against him for using excessive force. So why are they allowed? You know why? Because they need more police officers. But the argument is that if we defund the police departments, we won't need as much policing or as extreme policing. With all that set aside, even with the lack of training, even with the lack of personnel, it does not justify murder. It doesn't. And I can guarantee you that if this, just like the situation with a black man, I believe it was in Minnesota, assaulted a white woman, he was immediately convicted of a crime and immediately incarcerated. They didn't pass go, they ain't collect no $200, they ain't give nothing. Look it up. So Minnesota apparently has a problem. And just so you know, this is ongoing. Check it out, look it up, check out Minnesota, police officer, African American, you'll find it. Now, I don't know what the comment was about, let me see, somebody made a comment about, here comes the straw man arguments. Somebody give me the straw man arguments. Explain to me what that is, please. I'm oblivious to it. What's a straw man argument, Michael? Straw man argument? You know what that is? Me neither. I never heard the term. But I'm savvy enough to Google it. So let's see. Straw man. There you go. There, it came up real quick. Straw man argument. Let's see what we got going on. Let's see what straw man argument is. Straw man. A straw man fallacy occurs when someone fakes another person's argument or point, distorts it or exaggerates in some kind of way. Oh, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it, sir. I appreciate that. You were coming at Rob for being, yes, and that's totally okay. I support that here. We're open to call anybody an asshole because we hate everyone equally. We're not racist, but we're racial, and that is the way we were all brought up in the United States of America. Some were indoctrinated into racism. Others were born into it, if you think about it. So, what do you guys think? What do you think we should do? I think the idea of the monuments being moved to federal battlegrounds and taught educated about them is a great idea. It's a great compromise. It's something that it should happen. Let me see, Marcus. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to Marcus. I got off my page so I can see you, Marcus. Thank you, sir. I like to see the comments. Where did you go, Marcus? Where'd you go? Let me see. I lost my page, guys. So they represent what police. Oh, here we go. Got it. They represent what police were created to do, which is protect property and privileges of white people. Police organizations descend from the patrollers that recovered fugitive slaves and captured free black people and pulled them into slavery. Yeah, they call them slave patrols. I've talked about this several times. The badge even looks like the original badge. Hey, how you doing this morning? You know, got people walking by the window. And he's right. It's a time for a change on every level, but I'm going to tell you where the change really needs to happen, Marcus. The change needs to happen at the bottom. It needs to happen at the voter level. And it needs to happen to the point where we have so many resources that we did not have at first. that we need to get these Tennessee dog ticks out of here. These politicians that are just embedded into the system that don't want to let go. They fat and happy now. It's time for them to go. This is why we have no positive change or policy that has teeth. All the policy we have are just falling out, just gums. That's all you do. You ain't doing no damage with that. So no, Robert, you're not a straw man, but your argument was because you kind of diluted the statement without hearing the entire conversation. So you kind of made yourself look like it. That's your fault. You got to own that one, brother. So, and I've known Rob for a while. He's great. I mean, for years. Shit, almost 20. He's a great guy. But the point I'm trying to make, and Marcus has brought it up, we need to get back to what they were originally designed for. Guys, look, let's not sit there and dilute the fact that the excessive force is not what we want. Let's see what Marcus is on it today. Let's see. Marcus, killings and lynchings of us are not going to stop until we have focused violence responses. Confederate monuments belong in Confederate cemeteries. Why is this? A feed is going crazy. Okay, so I just saw that, Marcus, and I apologize. It's like it's going up and down. You're right. We do need to focus on change, but we also need to focus on reform. Reform of our schools, reform of our policies. There is no reason why a child should get charged with, as an adult, in a school system because the resource officer has the ability to do that. The school system's laws are so jacked up that even kids who may have anger management issues, kids who have problems at home, they don't have any resources to get them back into the fold of trying to even be normal or even have treatment. See, these are the issues, and this is where some of the funds for defunding the police or when they defund the police, if they choose to, will go. These are the conversations that need to be talked about, and these are the things that need to be discussed with the people. And I go back to our black congressmen, senators. We all need to have that forum. When are we going to see, and here's the thing, sometimes, and I know this more than most of the time when we do stuff, we do it to help compromise, but our compromises for law enforcement and police, they don't work for us because we're the ones still getting slaughtered. Now, do I say resist police? No, I do not say resist the police. Do I say fight an officer? No, I do not. You on the tail, it's more of them than it is you, even right now. But here's the kicker. If you're all scared of the Grim Reaper, and the Grim Reaper comes up, but instead of being in a black cloak, he's in a white cloak, still carrying a sickle, right? That's a bad analogy. That sounds like the Klan. Let's say he's in blue. Let's go with blue. He's in a blue cloak, still carrying a sickle, still looks demonic, still looks evil. But because he's not in blue, some would think, well, it's not really the Reaper. But if you've never dealt with the Reaper, then you don't know what to fear of him. Therefore, these Reapers that are in blue, black people fear them. That may be why you have an uptick in violence. And another reason why you have an uptick in the violence is because of this. Now you're seeing white people lose football games. And it has happened. Lost national championships and have rioted, flipped over cars, burned buildings, and no one saw the National Guard come in or tear gas used. But when someone marches against police brutality, against murder, now you want to call out the National Guard. Now you want to call out the spray, the canisters of mace and gas and everything else. Now you want to do this. Let's see what Marcus just dropped on us. Let me see. I don't see where I see where you came to see. The Klan and police agencies are part of the same lineage. A lot of them are. A lot of them are part of the same lineage. And when we talk about that, we open another can of worms. But before I digress off what I'm saying, there's an uptick because black people are scared. And we've always been scared. But even with that being said, why have the murder rates? Why is it so disproportionate? Why? Why is it that a black man is 2 or 3 times more likely to get killed in a traffic stop than someone white? Why is it that a black man is 2 or 3 times more likely to get killed when being arrested, when he's resisting arrest, than a white person? Why is it that you see so many people on the internet talking about if they didn't resist arrest, they wouldn't be getting killed? Have you ever seen a belligerent white boy? Have you ever been out to the bar and seen a white boy get so drunk that he fights the police when they come to get him? They don't shoot him. They don't tase him. Now, if it is happening, then there's a disproportionate amount of police reportings that is not being shared. And it is a possibility. But like Will Smith said, it isn't that racism is new. Racism is being recorded now. And it's a couple minutes past my time. Again, I'm at 404 North Sycamore Street, Burnette's Baked Goods, Petersburg, Virginia. Here's the shop. Sitting out the front of the window, doing my podcast, my lives, giving you guys pie and politics. I come here every morning. I'm going to start trying to get here as many times each week. Sit there and have a good conversation with my friend Mike, the owner, operator, and talk about the news going on today. Have these discussions at work. Encourage people to come around. The more people, you see, Robert, America has gotten fat, lazy, and lost touch. And we want to deny what's really going on. And there's so many things going on. That's true, Rob. That really, really is true. But like it, share it, love, comment. If you want to get a mug, I ask you to join all of them. Sign into the podcast, leave me a message. If you sign into all of them, if you leave me a message on all of them, the podcast, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all Re-Education of a Nation, I will mail you a mug. All you got to do is do that. We're trying to get our numbers up, but we also want our listeners to let other people in the office know that they want to be re-educated. This isn't about black and white. And this is the one thing, if you look at the description of this show and this program, we want to America, because we all live here. This isn't something that I can just say, but what I'm going to report it honestly. If a group of black guys beat a white guy's ass, I'm going to say, hey, that was wrong, fellas, but it depends on what happened. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to bullshit you. So we are on Facebook. Leave us a message. Twitter, leave us a message. Instagram, leave us a message. And like it. YouTube, leave us a message. Write a comment. And go to Anchor or any podcast like iTunes and type it in, Re-Education of Relation, leave a comment, give us a review, and you will get a mug. And as soon as you get your mug in the mail, I want you to come back onto this page, come on to Re-Education of a Nation, and take a picture with your mug and show people we're not playing. I got tons of mugs to give out. And I'm doing that because we all want to re-educate the nation. Plus, my logo is cool as hell. You got to admit that. It's pretty dope. And there's a reason behind the logo, and we'll get into it. Begin again. I'm at 404 North Sycamore Street, Burnette's Baked Goods. Hey, if you're in the Richmond area, come try him out. He's got breakfast, lunch, dinner, shrimp, and grits. And, let's see what we got. He got the Shirley Mary Burger. He's got the Sycamore. The Sycamore is a 4-ounce Philly steak with peppers, onions, cheese, lettuce, and tomato. Let me go there. He got chicken and waffles, battered and fried chicken breast with buttermilk waffle. Oh, my God, it is delicious. Fish and grits, shrimp and grits. My favorite, the corned beef hash platter. And the prices are reasonable. The food is great. And the owner is awesome. And he's a veteran. So, guys, like it, love it, share it. If you want those mugs or know what you got to do, go to all the platforms. Leave a comment. Leave a review if you can. Let us know. And when we see them, message me on Re-Education of a Nation. Send me your address. And I will send you your mug. This has been Ryan Gardner. Let's work together to re-educate the nation. Peace.